Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's February 2nd, 2019. I'm out in the first lower shop. And today I thought I'd give a brief update on what's been happening recently. We've been just finishing going through a significant cold spell. Both the Midwest and northeastern United States have experienced some abnormally cold temperatures below zero, and then high wind chills as well, with tremendous winds. Right here, really have had some tremendous windstorms over this last week. We've had some snow as well, so a lot of things have slowed down, and I can work pretty comfortably in the clothes that I'm wearing right now. Won't say comfortably, but I can get things done in a few hour spurts, a couple of times a day, when we're in the 20s and 30s degrees Fahrenheit, which it hasn't been that way for a while. However, I have gotten some work done. A lot of the things that I've had to do are moving materials. So on the other side of the wall behind me here is the wall that was seen in the last video, where I've put the 1.5 inch thick polyisocyanurate, similar to the materials that are in between each of these studs. I put it up on the surface of the wall, and then I used 2x3s both vertically and horizontally, and then started some 5/8 inch plywood as a structural sheathing and interior surface. The same thing is going to be done on this side, but it's time to spend some time working over here on this wall and getting it insulated and studded out. And between the floor joists, I've got to do it on this wall, so I'm really creating a good thermal barrier between this lower internal shop, which will be heated, and the external shop on the outside, which won't be heated. And one of the things I've decided to do, there is a 220 amp, I think it's a 36 space or 32 space breaker box at the front of the building, up front here, the opposite wall. And here I am on the south wall. And my thoughts were to put a small breaker box here on the inside surface here, so I could run different equipment around, because there'd be quite a few 220 tools and appliances that'll be working in this part of this shop. And on the other side of this wall, there'll be another breaker box as well. I'll go over there now and show you what I mean. So I'm out here in the south shop, the area where the equipment, heavy equipment, is stored, where we do the work on the vehicles, on the farm equipment, where the farm equipment is also stored. And this is an area that's going to be worked on and modified in the future. But recently, one of the main things we want to do is get the lower shop insulated. And of course, this wall here needs to be really well insulated, which I've done so far. Shown getting this 1.5 inches of polyisocyanurate placed up against as a thermal bridge, thermal barrier, and putting the 2x3 boards up for structural support and for using as wire chases. And that supports the structure by which we install the 5/8 plywood. Now, these plywood sheets are 4x8 sheets. Many of them will be going up intact as 4x8 sheets, but not all of them. I'll get to that in just a second. Over here, over my shoulder, that blue thin insulation, and you see the wires coming through the wall just above that. That's where a 220 service is coming through to this shop as well, so that we can run the welders, plasma cutters, air compressors, and all the various equipment back here. So we can work on all the equipment and do the metal fabrication that needs to be done as well. So one of the things I've been doing over this cold spell is taking the wires that were once in the wall between the studs, the 2x6 studs that are behind this area, and taking those wires out, rerunning them, and bringing them through these areas. I have them, some of them temporarily hooked up, so I've got some power here to see what I'm doing and work with back here for right now. And one of the features that I'm installing is in anticipation of changes that come about over time. So when I first wired the house, there wasn't internet access, so we didn't have network cables going through the walls, and all that was something I had to do afterwards. We installed a more elaborate security system and surveillance system as well as time went on. And some of the audio video equipment I also put into the walls afterwards. So one of the things I learned as a life lesson is to, when I construct new sections that are going to be around for years to come, I want to make it much easier for me to make modifications in the future as well. So, and I already explained with both the horizontal and vertical studs that are securing the insulation and supporting the plywood surface, that's the inner wall surface in this area of the building. It's also excellent ways of running wire chases. Now, I don't want to be trying to fish through a complex wall, you know, with running, trying to fish through the area and get wires to where I want them to be in the future just blindly. So I've created, instead of just having 4x8 panels and all, I've made some 1 foot tall panels that are removable, so that I can run the wires, check on the labels, so we've got everything really neatly organized. I know what wires are going in what areas, and I can also inspect them as time goes on as well. So I'm running the security, networking, certainly the electrical supply, audio as well, and monitoring, closed circuit monitoring as well, going through these areas. So who knows what will change in the future, what other wiring I may want to do, and with a couple of layers of these removable panels, that'll make modifications in the future much easier. So, and the same thing will be done in the lower shop and in the office and areas where we'll be working with people coming here in the future for training and all. So I just wanted to give you an update on how things are going here. Things have been going slow. We've had to move snow. We've had to deal with the cold, and it's been more of a challenge as well. So if you thought this video was of value, please give us a thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I do appreciate hearing from you folks as well, your thoughts and suggestions. And by all means, hit that bell icon if you want to be notified when we post more videos. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And certainly, folks, have a super fantastic day and stay warm. Bye-bye now.